To a talking matter where we have conversations that matter. Okay. Today, as you can see, I'm not by myself. I'm joined by these beautiful black ladies. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
And today we are going to be discussing the statement: university breeds mental health issues. So let's get started. What do y'all think?
Yes.
I concur.
Second that. Third that.
So we've all agreed that university breeds mental health issues, but I kind of just wanted us to let's unpick this a bit. Do we think it's the actual university, or do we think it's the people, or do we think it's a mixture of both? And tell me a little more. What you guys think.
Well, I think there's levels to it. Like, first of all, university's hard. Like, point blank period, it's hard. Like, because obviously in secondary school, sixth form, you have to go to school, you'll have teachers there who are there to force you. But university, no one's forcing you. The only thing that's forcing you is your £9,250.
9,200.
That's the only thing that's forcing you. Like, literally. And to that effort to do the work, sometimes you just want to sleep. But university says no. University says I have £9,250 on a noose. And
your neck is up.
Your neck is there. So you just have to keep it stepping. So I feel like, number one, university is hard. The workload is hard. You're being taught by researchers. Researchers, as in, I do a lab-based subject. These people know what they're doing.
They're not playing games.
No games, man, no games.
No games.
So it's you're already being taught by this, and sometimes they don't know how to translate to English. So therefore, you're doing up scientific words. But I'm a simple-minded English person.
Wait.
So now I have to be unpicking. I've been doing extra research.
She's traumatized.
I'm traumatized. I'm really triggered.
I'm so dead.
So universities, do we think it's the difficulty in university that kind of affects people?
I feel like it's the lack of support. Okay, don't get me wrong, there is support there, but it's not the same kind of support that we have coming from sixth form colleges. Yeah. There it was your teachers will be if anybody needs help, come and talk to me. Your teachers are on it because they want you to go to university, so it looks good on their school. But when you're at uni, they've trapped you. They've already got you, so they don't need you anymore. Literally,
bondage.
They've actually just got you. So it's there's less of that. So now you have to be, what's it called? What's that word? Proactive.
Yeah.
And now be okay, after the lecture, go and talk to the lecturer. Email the lecturer, go and find the lecturer, go and knock. And sometimes lecturers are not anywhere to be found.
Yeah.
You can't find them, you email them. Sometimes you have one lecture with one lecturer and never see them again. So now all of that stress, and sometimes they teach you stuff that's not in a textbook. It's not online, it's their own research. And now you're so how do I find more information? And you're not answering my email. Because now you're stressing because now they're telling you it's on your exam, but you don't have extra information about it. But they tell you to get a first class in your exam, you must find extra information, but there's none. Can you see what the mental health can start? So now you're having breakdowns because you want to get a first class in your degree, but there's no one there helping you. You see stress. You actually see stress. Think about it.
Just think about it.
Firstly, I would say, in terms of the kind of person you are, if you're an introvert, it can be a bit hard for you. It can be a bit too sticky because you're going into a lecture theatre, you know no one. Some people are lucky that they came to uni with people and some people are not. So you're going into a lecture theatre and you're seeing loads of people. Some people just come in and sit next to you. So if you're shy and you can't talk to anyone and you're sitting next to a shy person, you won't be able to talk to them too. So it's that thing whereby it might be hard for you to make friends. And like Comfort said, uni is very demanding.
Yeah.
it takes a lot out of you. You need friends. You need people to keep you company. You need people to like, you know, say, oh, I'm going out today, or oh, do you want to come to lunch, or do you want to do this? And if you don't have that, because you know the kind of person you are, and if you can't find someone else that's like you can be in your room all day, you can be stuck by yourself, then you start thinking that I can't do this, and I can't, you just start thinking I can't do this because you don't have someone else there to tell you you can. And from that you start to feel depressed, you start to feel anxiety because you can't talk to anyone, because you feel like lecturers are so above you, or they're like gods that you can't even go to talk to. So I feel like the kind of person you are coming to uni could really shape your experience.
To add to that point, I feel like I've like heard stories of people who have had underlying issues before they've come to uni, but obviously sometimes you don't realize you have those issues. And it's not until uni that where it actually comes to light. Because imagine you're going from home, like your family's all there, like you spend all day with your friends, you come home to your family, you talk, like you're surrounded. But once you get to uni, you're by yourself. Like obviously, you like when you move to accommodation, you have your house flatmates, but they're in different rooms. You don't know those people. Like it's literally you and your room until you make friends and so on. So like, especially for the first couple of weeks when you're still testing out the waters with different people, and if you're alone, you're left with like your own thoughts, your own like things that you've never even thought about start coming to light because you're by yourself. So I feel like especially like some people, and I feel like a lot of people do have underlying issues that we just don't think about it.
Think about A-levels damages you. It takes you.
That's
and it goes
true.
boom.
Like, and some of us are still recovering from A-levels.
Traumatized.
So we're still traumatized from that. Then we're like left by ourselves. There's no anyone to be like, oh, don't worry, you're in uni now. Nah, you're just sitting in your room by yourself, and all your thoughts like, oh, that happened. That happened.
Like, how did you guys feel when your parents left? Like, when it was like goodbye?
I cried.
Really?
And then I met Comfort and then I stopped.
Oh, that's
we
nice.
were flatmates in the first
They were
year.
flatmates in first year, and Elizabeth
Friends
and Comfort
forever,
knew each
baby.
other from before
Yeah,
uni,
we came from back home.
and I just managed to insert myself.
Yeah. Parasite.
Thanks.
Lord.
But yeah, no, I definitely like agree with what's been said so far. I think that it's important to acknowledge the fact that uni's hard, and I think that after A levels, people tell you that uni is easier than A levels.
It's a lie! It's a lie!
Biggest lie.
Fraud!
Biggest
It's
lie.
It's 419.
Ah,
It's fraud. Because they're trying to get you to uni.
all-
Okay, DP, all you A-level students out here, yeah? So you doing your 3 to 4 A-levels is hard, right? It's hard. Now imagine doing 3 to 4 A-levels per semester.
First semester.
Per semester.
Not for a year. Not for 2 years. Per semester.
Because I don't think uni is easier than A levels. I think
Most
uni is
definitely
different.
not.
I think it's different, and it's like you have to. It's preparing. Like what makes uni even harder, in my opinion, is not only are you now having to look after your education, you're not having to look after yourself, because who's buying you food? You are. So who has to go do the shopping?
You are.
So like it's like okay, and if you're lucky, like you know you're getting student finance, they're able to support you to a certain degree. More time, you still need a job. So whilst university is happening, you have to get a job.
It's okay.
So like you have to work times 2, you know, and I think that
Not 1.
Not 2, but 1,000.
Not 1, not 2, 1,000.
so it's like actually I don't think university is easier than A levels. It is different. I think it can be more enjoyable than A levels.
Yeah.
And I think that the enjoyment of your degree
Enjoyment.
is what's going to help you keep going when it gets hard. But I cannot say, and I will never say to anybody, university is easier than A levels. No. So I'm about to bust that myth right now.
And also, I just had a thought. So like we've talked about during uni, we've talked about before uni. Let's talk about after uni. So now uni for a degree is usually 3 years, unless you do a master's 4 years, and other subjects is longer. So now you have to start thinking about your future.
Yeah.
When you were in A levels, the only future you're thinking was about university.
You're thinking, I'm going to party.
Yeah.
Party
But
after
now you
party.
have to think, I need a job. I need to pay rent after uni. I need to like you have so many things, and you're like, what am I gonna say? That now that's like all I'm saying is uni stress. It gives you stress. Like there's just so many things you have to think about within the 3 years you're here, and like we all know stress is not a good thing. Like stress, like for me, stress gives me migraines. For some people, stress will unlock different thoughts that they never had before. It will cause you to like
Cause you to
separate
isolate
from
yourself.
separate from yourself, isolate yourself, and I feel like those things like the many mental issues are the common beginnings of them. So that's why like it will lead towards that.
Do you guys think like in unis they really like talk about like the mental health side of it in terms of...
I feel like they do, but at exam season, like
Yeah.
especially our uni, like there's a lot of things that's like around exam season. They're like wellness stuff, like they'll bring puppies to campus. They'll do like all of these things that you are not your grades and stuff like that. But it's like that's all and well and good for exam season. But what about during the whole course?
What was it when I was writing that essay?
When,
That part.
When I was crying in that library.
That part.
When I wanted to give up.
Like,
Okay, I got to.
so it's like they try, but they do have like we have a course rep, where
Yeah.
we have like a course guy where he's in charge of like student thing, but he's mostly for like what's that thing called?
For like education part of it.
Yeah, the education, like if something's happened at home.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, like
so
extenuating circumstances.
yeah.
that's
So
it.
accessibility of the information
Yeah.
basically.
I think that like okay, to be fair to like unis, they do tend to have a structure. So they have your your personal academic tutor that you're supposed to be able to contact, but obviously how close you are to Pat, okay, how close you are to them is like it varies. So you might not feel very comfortable telling your Pat, X, Y, Z. So you do have that. Obviously you have your module leads, you have your year leads, you do have people, and then we do have a like service for like well-being, wellness, that kind of thing. They do have that in place because it's available. I think what is difficult is that obviously things are targeted, like you said, around exam time, and you might not feel comfortable accessing services. I think that's the real thing. It's all about accessing the support that surround you and that is in place. And luckily, obviously, if you have friends, then that's a good support system. If you're still like talking to, you're still very close with your family, that's a good support system. And they're probably easier to access and easier to open up to depending on the person. But like unis do have things to support you.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's just like how
You
well
knowing
they're
about
known,
them.
exactly how well they're known, how well you know how to access them are things that could be worked on, I would say.
Most definitely.
I agree.
I don't want to generalize, but like the people that go to uni, and I feel like this generalizes, but a lot of people who go to uni are like people who are struggling for the best. Like, what's uni for? Because like nowadays, after sixth form, after college, you can go off and get a job, do an apprenticeship. Like, you don't have to go to uni. But I feel like either a lot of people who go to uni are either like, I don't want to say forced, but like people who have been told that uni is the best way forward, or people who are like always striving to do better, like academic people. So those are the kind of people that might put pressure on themselves to do well. So like I feel like that's another thing. It's like having that pressure upon yourself to do. I need to do it. And again, I keep going back to uni's hard, but like okay, a first class in uni 70%, which sounds low, but to get that 70%,
Oluwa, you sweat. You're not
like it's not easy to get that 70%.
Don't give it out.
So like I feel like it becomes
They don't add it on the plate.
it's a shock because like you come from you come from getting 80s, 90s, now you're getting 50s, you're getting 40s. If you're lucky, you get a 60, and it's kind of like
That's good.
and that's good.
Your first
And but,
party,
like,
you'll be like, thank God,
but
I
you've been
passed.
trained to get those higher grades.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I need to do what I need to work more. I need to work more. I need to work more. But as you're working more, you still realizing you're not getting the 70. You're not getting the 80. You're still getting the 60. But I feel like we've all realized is that the 60 is good. the 70
do better.
you can do better, but the 60 is good. But in uni, you need to understand that
It's not about the grades in
top
uni.
grades are not the highest percentages, and like I feel like that might cause again stress and confusion for some people who are so used to getting top grades and they come to uni and they're trying their best, but their best is not enough.
Yeah.
But don't worry, your best is enough.
Yeah.
I need to remember that.
I would say that's actually a good point because I think it's easy to come to university and maybe before you were at the top middle of your class of 30 max.
Yeah.
You're now coming to a place where you're in a room of 200, 200
Of the best.
plus.
Don't even get it twisted. These are 200 of the best.
And they're like tops. We're all in university, so we're all like
Top
we're
student.
all top students, and it can be hard to like adjust to that. I'm not at the top anymore. I'm not the best anymore, and I think that in itself can be very destabilizing for people, especially if that's where someone's confidence came from, if that's where someone's self-esteem came
That
from,
part.
like if that's how like they saw themselves as like and it's
Good
what
enough.
gave them the thing to
Sometimes
be-
it's their whole personality.
Yeah.
The smart kids.
Yeah, exactly. So if you come to university and you're no longer that person, it
You're
can
a
be
little bit shook.
crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
you,
You'll
be like,
it
whoa,
can be
whoa, whoa.
shaky.
Yeah.
So I feel like university defo, in terms of how it can make you feel academically, can definitely lead to mental health issues.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to talk about is it university, or do you think it's just the age we're at whilst at university? Do you think it's possibly just because between the ages of, let's say, okay, and obviously people come to university at different ages, but I'm going to generalize, 18 to let's say 22, 22, do you think it's just that age of learning to become an adult that's causing it? Or
I feel like, sorry, I really cut you, but I feel like everyone between the ages of 18 and 18 upwards until like you're a full-grown adult, whatever age you want to put that at, has that kind of like mental crisis. I don't say crisis, like, yo, it's not a crisis, but like it's like, again, I go back to like after school has been teaching, like pushing us like after A levels, after BTEC, you're becoming an adult, you're becoming this, you're becoming that. So I feel like everyone is going to have that kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm an adult now, I have to get a job, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, we're all gonna come there because we're going from living with a family, leeching off our families, like all of that, to now being on our own. But I feel like university emphasizes it, because it's like, okay, let's say you went on to do an apprenticeship, you could possibly still be at home. Like, even if you're working, you could possibly still at home. Or if you end up renting, like, you can still be going back and forth. Like, you're working now, you're in the workplace, you're around different people. But now in university, most people move away. You're in a new environment, an environment you've never been in before. You're meeting new people. You have to learn to take care of yourself. And like some people are lucky enough that their parents have been teaching them how to cook, all of that. But for some people, this is the first time they have to cook for themselves. This is the first time they have to clean their room. Like,
Some people burnt in them
Like,
impressions. I know you.
like some people, like, it's just a shock. So I feel like for everyone from in that age it was gonna be an issue, like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming an adult, what do I want to do in my life? But now you're in uni, it's like you've got that plus added pressure of taking care of yourself, rather than being at home, your parents taking care of you while you just had to decide your life.
That's like the elephant in the room with the job and the money, because you go from like living in your parents' house and eating your parents' food and using like the things your parents buy to having to do that on your own.
You
And
know,
like,
tissue costs £3.99. Hey, you cry.
When you have £5 in your account, you have to decide whether you need toilet roll or food.
yeah, it's tight. Money can get tight, and I think that's where a lot of people start to stress. And that's where they, like, so you know when you said about the age, like, so from the age of 18, essentially our parents kick us out and like, go fend for yourselves. And it's like, well, damn, I don't have any money, like, give me money. And no one is giving you money. So, hey,
damn.
Yeah.
So I think that's true. Like, money can be a really big stress for some people, and obviously, again, university does have some support, and like,
it's just like,
it's all about accessibility and how accessible it is. Like, there's so many things that go into it, but I could definitely say that like money is one of the. We all know that money causes problems. Like money,
definitely
stress of
is.
money causes mental health issues in adults.
Yeah.
Let
You sweat
alone
in the night when
exactly.
you're sleeping.
As
in
in,
marriage.
You wake up with your
Exactly.
stress. Your
So-
stress will wake you.
Money as a problem for a university student can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I think that that is a key point there.
And I also feel like in that age range as well, you're trying to make so many big decisions. Like, you're making a lot of big decisions, and then from there you can start doubting yourself. Because also you're thinking, just because, I don't know, Jerry is doing this, that with university, you also feel like, oh, me as Tom, I have to also do extra work. I have to do extra this. I have to do extra stuff. So you're at that age that you feel like you have to compete with everyone else because you're trying to lay that foundation.
and comparison is the what?
It's the killer of joy.
It's the killer of joy.
That part.
It's the killer of joy. So I feel like, in terms of like the big decisions you have to make and the things you feel like you have to do for those decisions can, kind of start playing with your mental health.
So one thing I do want to jump into is like, okay, university, but I think that it can be different for different years. And I think that university actually does target a lot of mental health support towards freshers in terms of moving in, being away from home, making sure that you're well assimilated into the uni. Yeah. But what nobody prepares you for is the jump from year 1 to year 2.
Hey, mommy. Wait. Can we take time?
Maybe say it again.
Take time.
I heard you. Say it again.
The jump.
Because year 1, the jump from year 1 to year 2, it's a jump. It's a leap.
It's a leap of faith.
It's a leap.
Forget any dirty leap. They push you from.
They don't even give you parachutes. They don't give you parachute.
They don't give you nothing.
It's like year 1. Okay, cool. Year 1 is like hard. It's adjusting. It's kind of adjusting.
First year doesn't count.
Don't tell them that.
No, but everybody knows
First
year
year
doesn't count. You're playing game. You're
You're
playing
living
games.
your best life. You get a 20 in your exam. We keep it stepping because it doesn't
You
count.
might repeat if you get 20.
No, you might have to retake it.
Yeah.
It might, but hey.
Pass first year. Pass first year.
Pass first year. We all pass first year.
We all exactly.
That's
Pass
fine.
first year.
Pass first year.
But it's all fun and games, and then you get to second year, and it's like,
All of us is a third of a degree.
oh,
What do you mean it's a third of my degree?
Calculate that for me.
But hold up, in semester 1 I'm getting 50s and 60s. But that's a 2-1. But I won a first. So wait, where do we go from here?
where do we go from
But
here?
all of a sudden, all the information is not on the slides.
Oh no.
All of a sudden, I have to be reading textbooks. All of a sudden, I have to be
Extra information.
research
On top of your
papers.
textbook.
Guys, research papers are the biggest scam of life.
Biggest scam of life.
And then, why are you using such big words? I barely understand English. Now you're using scientific English. Like, you're using Latin for me. Now I have to be doing Google Translate about an article for me to even write an exam.
And then it feels like from year 1 to year 2, your Google just changes. It changes. You want just one word. Breathing, they give you a research paper.
Because they track your Google search. I'm sure of it. They know when you go to uni. Because first year I was still getting like bite size. Now I'm getting all research papers.
You know, that's actually a thing. I just want to Google one thing. I wanted the answer to this one thing. And I have to read 5
A
articles.
whole academic journal.
An academic journal.
Try it. What is breathing? If you're in second year or third year, you
don't
see.
breathe.
You don't breathe. You're not going to breathe.
don't
because
breathe.
you're going to read
Underwater.
all the paper.
Not S. We did not get to breathe 3 S.
Not 1,
No,
not
one.
2, not even 3 years. We didn't even breathe 3 years.
Please.
So like it's a jump, and I can only imagine from second year to third year. So like I feel like as
I can feel it in the back of my brain.
so I can actually only imagine like how people that can be in of itself really stressful. That can be really stressful. And if you think about like, especially if they're targeting everything towards first years, but it's actually the second years and third years that are crying and suffering.
You know what? I feel like third years also get some sort of support because they're moving on to the new work. It's second year they leave you alone because they're like, oh, you've assimilated, first year, you've had first year. But meanwhile,
They say bang.
they know second year. You see the notes that they already give you a first year. It's just they've tightened it. They do like this. They do like this. And you're just hanging by for. Then you go and see your parent. Your parents like, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine.
I almost cried in my papa office once. I almost did. I was just, I
I'll be fine.
don't know.
Is that all you can give me?
That's
I'll be
I'm
fine.
gonna say your dissertation will work out. It will do it for you.
I haven't seen him since. I don't know my pattern.
No, mine is alive.
I hope he's okay.
Oh no.
So I think that like that's another thing to consider. Be prepared for that. The same way nobody tells you about the jump between year 12 and year 13.
That was a jump. That was a leap.
It's that kind of jump.
That was triple jump.
I'm
That was triple jump.
traumatized.
It's that kind of jump. So be prepared. That being said, like I know this sounds like very negative.
Nice.
But the fact is that's the academic side.
That's the academic. Like there's more to uni than like your degree.
So much. There is
more.
And how
Obviously,
much
it's your priority.
Yeah.
But this
And also, let's not lie. Like even though it was hard, like
We enjoy our
I
degrees,
enjoyed
yeah.
like because we all do something we enjoy.
Yeah.
Can we all agree with that?
yeah.
Most
We all
definitely.
do stuff we enjoy. So even though it's hard, we all enjoy our degree, and I think that's what's so good about it. Like even though I'm like I'll cry in the middle of the night, but I'll be like, oh wait, but like part of me is like I'm crying for a good reason because I enjoyed this. Like the reason I'm doing the degree, there's a reason for me doing this degree. Like I actually enjoy it. So
when you
I
start
think
getting
one thing
things.
to know is that if you're coming to university degree, do something you enjoy.
Do something you enjoy.
Please.
Don't do anything anyone force you to do. Do something you enjoy. Do something you enjoy learning about because when the going gets tough,
The tough get going.
it will be that enjoyment that will motivate you to carry on doing your work.
Yeah.
When you're in the library at 2 a.m. and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? It'll be like you you remember like, oh, it's because I like this, and this, and you carry on and you keep it stepping. So make sure you do something you enjoy. So we talked about the
loneliness, the difficulty, the pressure, the type of person you are, the type of home you're coming.
We didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk about that one.
We didn't talk about that one.
Do you think the type of home, like the type of family you've been brought up in, will also be like a contributing factor?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, actually no, you go first.
I feel like half and half, like yes and no, because if you're brought up in a family whereby you guys spend time together, like you spend time together all the time and you have things that you do, when you come to uni and that's like kind of snatched and taken away from you, like if you have like Sunday KFC, Saturday Chinese, you watch TV together. When you get to uni, there's no TV. Don't get it twisted. You will not see TV for years. You see Big Bang Theory, if you don't have a license, you will not see anything. But it's the thing about those kind of things that you do with your what's it called? Your family is gonna get taken away from you. And if you're that kind of person that you really enjoy those stuff, you start feeling lonely.
Well, what I was gonna say is like depends how your family deal with mental health issues in the first place. So I was like obviously if you're brought up in a family where like it's open, like you can talk when you're feeling down, you can talk to them when you're feeling this. Like when going through uni, you have that kind of experience. So like if you're ever feeling this way, like you know you can call your mum, like even though she's miles away, like mum, this is what's going on. You know that when you have friends, you can open up to them, talk to them about what's going on in your life, like how you're feeling, like. But obviously if you're growing up in a kind of environment where nobody really like you don't talk about like mental health is like kind of like a where situation. It's like it's like a hush thing. Like you'll keep it in, and that's the problem, keeping it in, like not letting people know what you're dealing with. I think that's like the main problem. But at the same time, like you also have to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Like
relearn,
because everyone is brought up in a family. Everyone like your family's ideologies are not your ideologies. Your family's what's it called?
Like you go to uni to be your own person.
Yeah, you become your own person. So you kind of have to like step out on your own as well. So even if you do come from a family where everything is hush hush, you have to be like, no, I don't want to feel this way. I need to tell something to someone, and you kind of have to like force yourself. Like I literally have to say force because it's not an easy thing to do, to tell somebody what you're going through. You have to force yourself to go and tell someone, whether it's a friend, whether it's your pet. Like you're gonna have to force yourself to do it. But at the same time, if you do come from a family where everyone talks about talk, but you may not feel comfortable because the people are not your family. So it's like, yeah, at home I know I can talk to anybody, but it's like at the same time it's like I don't really want to talk to these people because they're not my family. So I feel like yes and no. Yes, because the way you're taught at home often influences how you act outside. But at the same time, you can be a rebel and like go against everything you learn at home. So yeah, that's how I thought about the question.
I went to boarding school, so
yeah, that still kind of shapes you as well because
so I was used to depending on friends and going to friends. Like I'm not going to go to my biology teacher because like what the hell. So because most people go straight from their homes into uni, but I didn't have that, so I was already used to like having friends and depending on them and relying on them and talking to people.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I just wanted to, we've talked about how university breeds mental health issues.
We back and we better.
We back and we better.
it's like Gucci or whatever.
Yes, we had a bit of technical difficulty, but we're back. And we're back to tell you guys basically our personal experiences and some top tips we would give to you. Okay? So like obviously, if y'all were watching my channel, y'all would have seen my whole story back in video number 1.
Oh no.
So go watch it if you haven't. But yeah, so I would have said that. So obviously for me it's a bit different because I came to university with pre-existing mental health issues that I had not resolved. So I would say top tip number 1, resolve your mental health issues. Like, don't come to uni with the pre-existing issues because it will be harder to manage and harder
Deal with your ish.
Deal with your ish. Because it's going to be harder to manage, especially like if you were just about managing before you have your family. Like we said before, you have your family, you have everybody, and even if you're not talking to them, there's still like a support network to you, and you're coming to university by yourself. Like it can be very daunting in of itself. So it will pop up again, even if it's in remission right now. It will pop up again. So I would say stay on top of your mental health issues, and especially if you're coming to university with pre-existing mental health conditions that you haven't necessarily resolved, or it's not on your record and you're not currently in connection with somebody who can help you, then actually like look into the support at the university that you're going to. When you get there, they tell you a lot about it. Actually get involved, actually, you know, talk to somebody, actually get help and resolve those issues. It will make your life a lot easier if you do that earlier on in the process. So I would say that would be my main thing. But I would also say that for me personally, I think it was the first time I stepped into a room for a lecture, and it was everybody all together. So not necessarily just it was my course, but with other people with related courses, and we were all having an introduction session together. And I just like, I was so scared, because you just walk into this room where you know nobody, you don't know a single soul, and at this point there must have been like 300 people in the lecture theatre, and you're like, where do I sit, where do I begin, where do I stand, what do I say? Like, it can be a very daunting thing the first time you step into a lecture theatre that's full of people. So I would say kind of just don't overthink it, you know, and just try and overcome, like, it's not easy, but overcome your shyness, and like whoever you sit next to, just say hi. Because to be honest, during Freshers Week, everybody's trying to make friends. Nobody really, it's like not that many people already know people, so most people are actually trying to make friends, and most people are actually really friendly, and just, it's Freshers Week, then you can't be screwing anybody, you can't be rude to anybody, like you don't know anybody. So I would say just try and overcome it, just say hi, don't overthink it, and you never know, you might still be friends with that person when you leave.
I would say kind of try to know the person you are, like in yourself, try and know what kind of person you are, because I feel like one thing for me was I kind of knew I was a bit shy. I can be a bit shy at first, but then when I get to know someone, then I open up a little bit. And in terms of like mental health in uni, like some of the experiences I've had, it was being scared of like exams and exam season, and then developing kind of like anxiety during that season. And it's just knowing the kind of person you are. If you feel like, oh, you're not good with pressure, do not leave things to last minute. Like try and like do stuff bit by bit, because then when you have that much pressure in your face, you know you won't be able to do it. You know you're gonna crack. So it's just knowing the kind of person you are and trying to find ways to at least not put yourself in sticky situations. And also, like the first point I made about being like extrovert, introvert, try and find people that are like you. So if you're outgoing, loud, try and find people that are like you, but you could also benefit from people that are not like you, or people that are a little bit more reserved, because sometimes it's not party after party. Sometimes you need to just have that little moment of just sitting around discussing things. Sometimes you just need people around you that you just do dumb shit. Just knowing who you are really could help with like your mental health in uni and stuff. And if you don't know who you are, don't worry, you'll find out who you are. So don't rush the process. It's okay. But yeah.
I think my 2 top tips would be 1, have a good support network around you, and 2, give it time. Like, so personally, some of my experiences have been there's one experience that comes to mind. There was like first year, we had a workshop in a module, and I had done this module previously in A-levels, and I didn't like the A-level at all. Like, it wasn't my strongest A-level, and I was just sitting there and like my lecturer was just explaining things. I couldn't handle it, and I just started crying. I just started crying in the middle of the workshop. Like, no one, like, but lucky for me, I was sat next to 2 of my friends, and like I was sat next to her because we do the same course. So Elizabeth, like, she'd been knowing that I wasn't good with that thing, and I sat next to another one of my friends, and like literally as I was crying, like I feel like it was just so awkward for them. It was just like, why is she crying? Like, because it was just like something I didn't understand and I didn't get, and it was like, you know, when you feel like everybody around you is understanding something but you don't, and like it was just hard. So and also it's like, so that was so I cried in the middle of my workshop basically. And like it was just things like, but I was able to speak to people. Like I had a support friend. Like I made a joke about it. Like, oh my gosh, guys, I just cried in my lecture. Like I made it a joke, but it was like even being able to joke about it with other people, it was just kind of weight off my shoulder, and like having people to laugh about it with you, and having someone that can come be like, okay, are you actually okay? Do you want to have a chat about it? Like having that kind of network, even like during exam times, because that's when the pressure really cracks on, when like everything look off, it's you and the library in your textbook, and like sometimes you like this gaps in knowledge, but like I think one good thing that we had is like even during exam season we weren't serious, which sounds bad, but it's like, let's say we spend the whole day in the library studying, afterwards we'll go to someone's room or would go to a common room and just chill, laugh about, watch TV, but like that took off pressure for myself. Like it's like it was first one something to look forward to like while studying, and it's also like we didn't take ourselves too seriously even though we were studying. So that was a relief off our shoulders. And also like my second tip, give it time. So like something that I was like battling with is like the feeling of not good, being good enough. Like all my efforts were never like rewarded, but something that happened in this second year is that started to see all my hard work pay off. So it's like it was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing better and all of that. So I think give it time, like especially if like not feeling like you're good enough. If like it's something like, and you have to keep working. Eventually you'll see the rewards. And also like with time, like with things like anxiety and depression, you're gonna have to practice whatever things you're doing over time. So it's gonna be a situation like tomorrow you're not gonna be like, I'm cured. It's like it could not be to the end of third year till you're like, actually this thing doesn't have a hold over me anymore. So give it time and have a good support network. Have people you can talk to. Like we all go to church. And we have a weekly Bible study with our youth pastor. And literally all he's like, if you guys have anything you want to talk, if you want to discuss, you can talk to. Then we also have a weekly prayer meeting at home, where we like, and the thing is, it's not only a prayer meeting, like we talk about anything and everything, anything that we're struggling with, anything that like decisions that we're cautious about making, like literally we all talk about it, we all discuss, people give their insight, and like that has especially helped me because I'm someone that juggles many things at a time. Like I have other things outside of uni that I do, but like I'm able to talk to these, and these guys know. I'll be like, guys, I need your opinion, I need your thing, like these guys know. But like having been able to talk to, like even some things like, like some things you don't want to talk to your parents about, but like having like friends your age mates to talk about, it's like it's invaluable, honestly. Like just having someone to talk to about different situations in your life, different things, like decisions you like want to make.
Like that thing you said about like having, like we have church and Wednesday weekly Bible study. I would say having something that you look forward to in the week. Because I'm not even going to lie to you. Some weeks I feel like this is like, it's absolutely bad. Like that week, it can't get better. But then I know there's like a Wednesday Bible study that I know for that from 7 to whenever, I know I can just sit down, kick back and relax. It's just that time that I look forward to, and I'm not gonna lie, it gets me through the week. Like it actually gets me through the week. So if it's not Bible study for you, if it's not church, look for something. If it's a society, if it's a sport, look for something. If it's even something outside your uni, like actually look for something that you like doing, that you look forward to. Because it's not all about uni. It's not really, I mean, obviously the priority is getting your degree and getting the knowledge from uni, but it's not really all about that. It's a process. You want to get out of uni and say, okay, I made it. Like I made it out of uni. I got my degree, but I'm also a better person. I've also picked up this, I picked up that. But I would say definitely having something during the week really gets
having an outlet.
Okay, so my tip would be to be introspective in terms of sometimes you just need to like step outside of your body and look at yourself, like look into yourself, because I think Ire touched on this in her first video about how sometimes you can be in denial if something is not right with you. Because when I was in first year, like I was always very active in first year. Like she was right in the room next to me. Like I had like all these amazing friends, and then some. Like I was always going out. I was that big, but like there was just a period where I was just like sad. and there was nothing for me to be sad about. Like I was like great, like on the outside, but it took me to like English.
Took you looking inwards.
Yeah, it took me looking inwards, because it would have been so easy for me to be like, oh, I'm not feeling like something's like off with me, and it would be so easy for me to just roll over and just say, oh, I must be bored, and then watch an episode of Modern Family and just carry on, and then it would like continue. But it like it was me really sitting down and like, why am I feeling this way? Like, what's wrong with me? Like is it my friends? No. Is it like, you know, school? No. Is it my family? No. So why am I not right? Like, why am I so sad all the time? Like, why am I just sad? And then I was just like, oh no way, this might be like depression. So I was like, yeah, I looked into myself and I thought, you know, if everything is right and you're feeling this kind of way, then you need to like change something within you, not like your outside, within you, so within myself. So I just decided like, I'm not gonna be sad anymore, and I just made the decision not to be sad. I mean, it's not as easy for other people, obviously. Everyone has such different stories to tell, but that was like the one time that I was just like, yeah, I need to look into myself, think, what's wrong with me? If no one else is doing this to me, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? So I just decided I'm not gonna be sad anymore, and I'm not sad.
And like, I feel like I want to add on to that, like, make an active decision. Like, as soon as you start feeling some sort of way, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whatever thing, make an active decision. Like, once you've realized that this is what's causing you, okay, you're feeling anxious, what is the thing that triggers you to become anxious? What can you now do to prevent that? You're feeling depressed, okay, let's look at what caused you to, like, look for your triggers basically, and try and prevent them. Okay, like Elizabeth said, she doesn't work well under pressure. She knows that that's her trigger. So what you do, you space out your work. We all know it's not easy, but by taking active steps towards it and giving it time, like I said before, you'll get over it.
Yeah. And to touch up with like one thing Ade said about like, oh, she looked outside of herself before she looked in. Sometimes when you look outside and you say, oh, is it my friend? Sometimes talking to your friend is actually good, because you might think, oh, they won't get it, they don't understand, because you feel everyone's life is perfect. Because back then in first year, sis, I didn't know something was going on with you. Like, you know, you might think, oh, everyone is perfect, everyone has got it, but sometimes when you have this honest conversations with people, you'll be shocked. You will be shocked.
Wow.
Because you'll be like, wow, damn, you was going through that too. Like, you know, like, I'm going through it too. Like, what are you doing? This is what I'm doing. Like, and then you feel safe, because I remember the conversation we had. I thought I was a bit weird, but then I saw someone else going through it.
Yeah,
and then I was
you're
like,
not alone.
I'm not alone. I have someone I can actually pick up the phone and be like, well, damn, it's happened again. What do I do? Like, someone to talk to. And I feel like it's just, yeah, that is very, very much important, because we tend to like eye things about ourselves that we feel like no one else is going through, or this is the bad side of us, this is the monstrous side of us. But then when you tell people, there's nothing new under the sun, like they said. But yeah.
I would say like everybody gave like really good tips, and a lot of them will be jumped into if you watch my videos. So go watch all my videos, okay? Okay. Tell somebody when you're going through something. I think I say this every single time I get in front of this camera and I talk to you guys. Just tell someone, talk to somebody. It's very like, it's so important. And taking that step to be like, decide to do something important, because like we said, university has all these support, university has these structures in place, but you have to access it. You know, they won't know that you're depressed. Like, there's GPs and stuff, but until you go into your GP, they don't know what you're going through. Making the decision to take an active step is really, really important. Like, do that, you know, and try and like resolve your issues. Be patient. Like Compass said, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix.
Bad diet.
So you know, it's important.
And be reflective.
And what do you call it? And also find your triggers. Know what it is that affects you, so you can change whatever it is, you know. So I hope that, you know, you guys not only enjoyed the video but also learned something. And, you know, especially for people who are going to be joining uni come next year, especially in completely different circumstances. I hope this was like beneficial to you, because I know that it might be uncomfortable for you to not have the traditional university experience, and I don't know how that might affect you or whatever. So I hope you guys just, you know, enjoyed the video, learned something, and it touched you. And I shall see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.